Hey, what's up guys, Totallydubbed here, and today I'm doing a video review on the Logitech G703 wireless. Now the G703 wireless has a power play and Lightspeed technology built in. Now you might be wondering what these two technologies are. Now Lightspeed is in order to provide a lag-free wireless experience. So yes, this is a wireless mouse, and yes, this is the receiver, so that's why it's not connected right now. Power play essentially allows you to play whilst you're charging. Now often with wireless technology you always have to recharge, and even though battery technology has come across really far in recent years, especially in products like this, like the G703, you still have to recharge your mouse, and some people would not like that. They just want to always game wirelessly, which is fine. However, due to technology limitations, that's not been possible. But thankfully, Logitech came up with a solution with PowerPlay. It's basically almost a wireless charging pad, which you can use the Logitech G703 on it. Now, the G703 works in the same way as the G903 does in terms of its PowerPlay, and also in terms of its Lightspeed technology. So you might be wondering, okay, then what's the difference between the 403, 603, 703 and the 903? There's 4 different mices. So starting with the 403, it's the cheapest out of the range. It doesn't have the power play or Lightspeed technology built in, at least from what I could see. And in other words, it has the normal wired and wireless technologies. The G603 uses Lightspeed technology, doesn't have the RGB lighting, again from what I've researched and looked at. And then the 703 has the RGB lighting and the power play and Lightspeed, and the 903 is pretty much the daddy of them all, has everything included, and has more button layouts and customizability. Now the G703 over here very much is like the G403, which I've actually got a wired version of it right here. This is how it looks like. 403, 703, it's the exact same thing and looks the exact same thing. Obviously one's really used, the other one's brand new. Now, in terms of the pricing of the G703, it can be found for £100 on Amazon.co.uk and $100 on Amazon USA. Links will be down in the description below, including a link to Logitech's website where you can find the full specs. Now, speaking about specs, what do you get? Now, you've got a PMW3366 sensor. Now, a quick note on that in terms of performance-wise, both on wired and wireless modes, I found the 703 to perform fantastically. I would use it for esports, I would use it for competitive gaming like Counter-Strike or Overwatch, Dota, League of Legends, you name it. And I would use it very much for casual games, more like Battlefield, Call of Duty, PUBG. I know that's getting a lot more serious now, but anyway, games like that, it would absolutely work as well. So in terms of its performance, with that sensor specifically, it's fantastic. Logitech have done a fantastic job over here in terms of its one-to-one tracking, in terms of how it responds, in terms of its clicking as well, which is now rated a lot higher than its predecessor. I think it's 50 million clicks now versus what it was 20 million clicks. And in terms of its sensor tracking on all different types of surfaces, it actually works very accurately. Now I've just got a normal mouse mat over here, nothing too fancy. It works flawlessly and is able to track my movements very accurately in a game like Counter-Strike, where every single pixel counts. Now it has a up to 12,000 DPI that you can use. Now I use it on 1,400 DPI. I didn't notice any sort of problems when it came to scrolling around, moving around left and right, or angle snapping, for example. Didn't have any problems with that at high DPI settings or any jitter. So that's just generally due to the sensor technology that's within it, and it does a fantastic job. Now in terms of its polling rate, it goes up to 1000 Hz, which is pretty much what you'd expect. This is also over wireless, which is a 1 millisecond response time as well, which is fantastic for a wireless mouse. Now again, these are quoted times. I haven't been able to give you the 1000 polling rate and 1 millisecond response time via test. However, from my own test and my own comparison to other mice that I've reviewed, I must say the G703 does a fantastic job. It's got a 32-bit ARM microprocessor found within it as well, meaning you can store your button layout and then take it to another computer and plug it in, and you will still have the same layout. It's fantastic because you can save your profile settings straight on the mouse itself. In terms of its weight, it's actually a 107 gram mouse. It has an optional 10 gram that you can add via this, which I haven't got it on, as you can see. That is pretty much standard. It might be very slightly heavy to some, which might be used to about 90 grams, but 107 grams for the mouse only is fantastic. Now the cable itself is around a 1.8 meters, a 1.83 Logitech states, and it is a detachable cable, and it has a micro USB connector on one end with a nice little design. Braided cable goes into a standard USB. Now, Logitech also include an extender. Now, you might be wondering, why do you need an extender? Now, that's in case you've got a lot of interference between your PC, which mine is located just down there, and your USB. So, the USB is actually absolutely tiny, as you can see over here. This is perfect for laptop users. But if you're a PC user and your PC is just a little further away and you might have some interference, I highly suggest plugging it into this adapter, then plugging the normal a cable into this, and then now you've got a wireless experience over here. So obviously the transmission is going between these two devices. It works flawlessly, no problems, and I must say the design that Logitech have done with this, and it's been around for quite a while now, is fantastic. Now, in terms of the mouse itself, underneath you've got the weight adjustments, you've got the pads on the top and bottom, you've got on and off for the wireless, so obviously this no longer works, and then you switch that on, it turns on. Then you've got two buttons on the left hand side, so it's very much a right-handed mouse. My hand, as an FYI, from my middle finger at the top to the bottom of my palm is around 18 to 18.5 centimeters, and it fits around my ham really well. It's a good fingertip to palm grip type for me, depending on how I feel. I wouldn't suggest it for claw grippers, but you could use it if you're a claw gripper as well. The buttons on the left hand side are soft to click. If I just go silent, they're very nice to click and very easy to click at the top as well. And then you've got the three standard buttons: left, right, and center. Now the scroll wheel, now one known problem on the Logitech G703 was a rattling problem, and I can confirm there's really no rattling problem occurring, so you can shake it as hard as you want and it just won't rattle, which is fantastic. Now in terms of lighting, you've got RGB lighting at the G logo over here and the mouse wheel. You might be wondering, why don't I have it on the G logo? And that's simply because, just like all the other mices in the Logitech line, I feel it just heats up a little bit, meaning it heats in terms of my palm, and as I game for quite a long time, I just feel it makes it a little bit uncomfortable. Of course, you can enable, disable it all via the software, the Logitech gaming software. That is also really comprehensive and allows you to customize it to your heart's content, including creating custom macros, creating keybinds to your keyboard, or just disabling it altogether because you don't want it. So the mouse itself has fantastic ergonomics, it's got a good build quality, its wireless technology is fantastic, its sensor performance is amazing, the weight adjustment is a nice touch, and in terms of the looks and the design, just generally speaking, of the G703, it very much is going by the 403 and the 603, and previous mices before that as well. So, what do I think about this mouse? Now look, if you have a PowerPlay pad, or you are thinking of future-proofing yourself for PowerPlay pad for an investment at later down the line, then get the G703. If you want more buttons, get the G903. If you want less functions, in other words, you don't need the PowerPlay functionalities with it, then I'd get the 603 or the 403 wireless instead. Now, in terms of the wireless performance, I must say the new generation of the 03s, so the 603, 903, and the 703, in my opinion, and my subjective opinion, performed a lot better than the older variants, such as the G403. I don't know why this is, that could be just in terms of my experience, but when I tested the G403 and that was two mice side by side, one was wired, one was wireless, I noticed a delay on the wireless mouse. This was not the case with the G703. It worked flawlessly, wired and wireless. So yes, I would suggest it. It is fit for purpose. If you're looking for a mouse that does power play and lightspeed technology and comes in a G403 sort of form factor, the G703 is for you. So there we go, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this review. Make sure you give it a like, comment, subscribe, favorite and share, as it always helps the channel grow. And just let me know in the comments below what you think of the mouse itself. Alright guys, I've been Totally Dubbed. Take care and bye bye.